Greetings and welcome back to Doctor Who Revisited, my ongoing series where I go through every single Doctor Who episode from 1963 all the way up to 2022, and review them. And this next one is a bit of a short one. We went from probably the longest episode in the longest serial, I should say, in season 2 to the shortest episode in season 2, a two-parter called The Rescue. As a two-parter, I think it really works. I said this last time. I wish more Doctor Who episodes in the classic era would have just been two-parters. There's less to tell, there's less story to tell, but that's what makes them so great. They're just little tiny, self-contained stories that really do a lot in such a short amount of time. And once again, like I said last time, we do go follow a pattern, I should say, with a sort of sci-fi-ish story for the first serial, a 7-part Dalek serial for the second serial, and then a tiny two-parter for the third one. Obviously, it gets changed after this one, but The Rescue, first of all, elephant in the room, the introduction of Vicky Pallister, the first companion to join the Doctor's travels since Ian and Barbara. Obviously, Ian and Barbara were the first companions we see on screen join the Doctor in his travels, a little bit unwillingly, one might say. But obviously, Susan was already with the Doctor by the time you were introduced to this character. So not only is Susan the first companion to leave the Doctor, again, a bit unwillingly, but she did, and then Vicky is the first to replacement companion, I should say. That really started the whole trend of companions leaving and then getting replaced with other companions who then leave themselves to be replaced with other companions. It's just a never-ending cycle of a sort of revolving door of companions coming and going. And this is kind of really the first one. And as an introduction episode to Maureen O'Brien's character Vicky, it's a really good episode. It's one of my favorite introductions to a companion. And first of all, I love Vicky's character. Maureen O'Brien did a wonderful job with this character. In my opinion, not to beat a dead horse forever, but I think she's a much needed improvement over Susan. Again, she does really tend to fill that role of the damsel in distress, the little girl that gets captured or kidnapped most of the time. But the main difference there is that she keeps her composure. She doesn't scream as much as Susan does. She doesn't break down and cry as much as Susan used to do. And she's a bit of a braver character, I should say, than Susan, considering some of the horrors she had to go through in her first episode. All the people in the spaceship that she came to this planet Dido on died, including her father, and she was stuck with this terrorizing figure of Coquillian lording his will and imposing his tyranny over her and this other character, Bennett. More on him later. And I think that really builds character. That's the main reason why I think Vicky is a much better character than Susan. And obviously, Susan being from Gallifrey originally, she's a much smarter character, but I think Vicky really does have more street smarts to her. She's not as intelligent as Susan was, but she's definitely a lot more clever, if I'm allowed to make that distinction. The guy Bennett, actor, I can't remember his name at the moment, but he really does do a wonderful job conveying this angry, crippled guy that can barely walk, as well as, spoiler alert for a 50-plus-year-old episode, as well as the part of Coquillian. Those two characters could not be more different from each other, and the actor really does manage to nail that dichotomy between those two characters. And I loved the idea that, obviously, the guy playing Bennett was also playing Coquillian the entire time, and the showrunners didn't really want to give it away. In this episode, they do a wonderful job, at least in the first part. They credited the guy playing Coquillian as someone completely different than the actual person in the suit. They named the guy playing him Sidney Wilson, which is a combination of Sidney Newman and the guy running BBC drama television at the time. Can't remember his name at the moment. That's a genius move that the Doctor Who showrunners were able to pull off that early into the show's existence. I really liked the fact that they did that. The planet Dido, really interesting lore, but we didn't really get to see much of it. We learned a lot about this planet from the Doctor, but I would be very much interested to see Planet Dido at its height when the Doctor visited the first time, how this planet used to look like. And that's something I'm really interested to see, but the way it is right now, I love the use of the traps. I love how powerful and cunning they made the villain Quillian to be in this two-parter episode. I love some of the dramatic scene between Barbara and Vicky, that Vicky eventually snaps at her for killing her pet sand beast, who's also named Sandy, with the same name of my late dog. So, you know, there's some emotional attachment for me personally. Overall, like I said, really masterfully made two-parter episode and a great introduction to a brand new companion. The reveal of Quillian being Bennett the whole time was done perfectly well. For watching this for the first time, I never suspected it for a second. And the way the Dido wins, I think that's how they're called, show up at the end to save the Doctor from this guy. Really well done. And it's just a really well made episode. There's really not much fat on it that you can say and add to this review. It's really well made, and I really like it. So that's all I have to say. We've got so many more adventures with Vicky coming up next. So I think it's time I wrap up this review, and get to it. So thank you for watching. If you have, let me know what you think about this episode, The Rescue, and I shall see you some other time. Goodbye.
Hi there! Thank you for watching the video. And if you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and tell your friends. I'll see you next time.